Yo, what's up, YouTube? It's Millennium coming at you guys with another Dead by Daylight video. We are going to be going over the May 2024 developer update for DVD and see the upcoming changes. 3 weeks away, we're gonna get these changes on the PTB. Hopefully, they get reverted, but let's get right into it. So, right off the bat, we can tell that Deathslinger, Chucky, Leatherface, Blight, Wesker are getting changes. So that's 5 killers getting changes. Buckle Up, Weaving Spiders, Backroom Player, Deadlock, Grim Embrace, Pop, Decisive, and then Pain Res are getting changes. They're going to change Borgo, and they're changing toolboxes. So, yeah. So, diving right in, the first change, good guy, Chucky. They're decreasing his hidey ho cooldown to 12 seconds. What's 18? That's a buff. Chucky can only scamper while performing slice and dice attack. So that's a bit of a nerf because now you can't control when to use your power. But they also decrease the time it takes to scamper by 1.3. So overall, 2 buffs. One significant buff, 1 minor buff, and then 1 minor nerf. That's an overall buff to the character. That's good. For Leatherface, the Cannibal, they increase the chainsaw sweep duration by 2.5 seconds per token. It was 2. This is a buff, obviously. They increased the chainsaw sweep movement speed to 5.35 meters per second. It was 5.29. Very slight buff. Not too big. But it is a buff nonetheless. Change decrease collision detection size to help navigate tight spaces, which means you're gonna, if you chase a survivor in a tight corner, tight space, they're making it easier for you to navigate, so you are most likely to hit the survivor and not a random object standing in your way. So that's a buff. Decrease base tantrum time to 3 seconds instead of 5. That's a buff. Just in case you bump into something, you don't have to spend 5 seconds just sitting there. And then they're adjusting several add-ons. We will have to wait and see if that's a buff or a nerf. So, Deathslinger. Decreased stun time when survivors break free from your spear gun to 2.7 seconds was 3. A very minor buff. It's not, I don't think it's going to be too noticeable, but it is a buff, so. Increase reel speed to 2.75 meters per second was 2.6. Minor buff once again. Increased movement speed while reloading to 3.8 meters per second was 2.64. This seems like the most significant buff out of the two. First buff is 0.3 seconds. Second buff is 0.16 seconds, and then this one is I'd say like 0.30. Yeah, like the last one is like the best, the biggest buff actually. So Mastermind, this is where the bad news starts to come in. So decrease hindered penalty from infection to 4% was 8. So now if you're going against a really strong team, and you're forced to tunnel, like there are certain situations where the killer, even if they play fair, the survivors will play like comp. They'll pre-drop, they'll use insta heals, bottle time, all that stuff. Like sometimes you will be forced to tunnel because if you try to play fair, people won't allow you to down them. So this is a major nerf if that happens to you. Decrease hinder penalty from infection to 4%. That's barely noticeable. That's like a clown bottle. It's like barely there. 8% was way more significant. And then infection is now reduced to 1% when hooked, which means if you either want or are forced to tunnel in some situations, then now you have to wait longer for the infection to reach full, which means you have to wait longer for them to get the penalty, the hinder penalty. But when they do get it, it's not that big of a deal. So, uh, yeah, now with Wesker, you are forced to not tunnel. You have to try to infect multiple people at once, so that way they waste time in getting rid of the infection. And who knows, with this change, they might not even get rid of the infection. So, um, yeah, we'll just have to see. I honestly think that this is a major nerf to Wesker and that he's no longer a threat, but who knows? We'll see. The Blight. They changed Compound 33. It now increases the rush turn rate by 11%. It was 33, so this is a nerf. Iridescent Blight Tag now increases rush speed by 10%. It was 20%. So Blight has been overall nerfed. Once again, that's like the second nerf back to back that they give him. If you guys are wondering what the other nerf was, now he can't slide off of objects. So Blights who spent years learning his techs to like slide along walls and stuff to get to make insane plays and maybe hopefully get a hit. Now they can't do that. So Blight has been nerfed twice back to back. Let's see, toolboxes. Increase toolbox sabotage speed across most variants. So now most toolboxes, including the brown ones, the yellow ones, the green ones, and obviously the purple ones, will have better sabo speed, which means that people can use any toolbox to try and sabo, which is, I guess, good if you're a survivor who wants to interact with the killer and doesn't want to do gens. So it's a nice change for gameplay wise. Like, you know, if you don't like doing gens and you want to do fun builds, then this is a good change for you. Increase effects of sabotage related add-ons like grip wrench, cutting wire, and hacksaw. Oof. Yeah. So most toolbox are gonna be good now for Sabo. That's crazy. Alright, now on to perks. Let's go to the perks. So, Deadlock. Decrease block duration to 25 seconds maximum. Used to be 30 seconds at maximum level 3. It's a 5-second nerf, but still, those 5 seconds can be the difference between getting a kill or not getting a kill. It's a nerf. It's a killer perk nerf. Background player. So they nerfed the movement speed to 150%, right? Which is basically the same speed as a sprint burst. Adrenaline. It's the standard movement speed buff for exhaustion perks. But here's the kicker. Decrease exhausted duration to 20 seconds was 40 seconds. So now this perk is like smash hit, except you will get guaranteed value every time that you use it because it's a perk meant to get flashlight saves. It's a perk meant to save your teammates, and like it's very powerful if you know how to use it. So overall, it's a buff. You can use it more often. That 50% speed nerf is you can still make it to a pallet. You can still make it to the killer in time to adjust a flashlight save. You can still do it, but you can do it more frequently. So yeah, in my opinion, it's an overall buff. So background player is going to be meta now. So yeah. Moving on to the next change, Grim Embrace, killer perk. Decreased block duration to 10 seconds was 12. It's a 2-second nerf, but it's a nerf nonetheless. Like, I hope you guys are seeing the pattern here. That's 2, maybe 3 killer perks that are nerfed, and survivor perks are getting buffed. Decisive Strike is the next one on the list. Reduced stun duration to 4 seconds was 5. Well, it is a minor nerf, but still better than 3 seconds. Decisive is still gonna be good, to be honest. So it's not really gonna change. People are still gonna run this perk. Oh, Pop Goes the Weasel. Change. Decrease regression effect to 20% was 30%. So Pop Goes the Weasel has proven to be very strong, and the conditions to activate it aren't very difficult. To better reflect how often it comes into play, we have reduced the strength of its regression effects. Cool. So buckle up. Buckle up no longer provides endurance. That is a very good change, finally. But survivors who are healed from the dying state break into a sprint at 150% movement speed for 5 seconds does not cause exhaustion. Yeah. I mean, it's not too bad. You can still go for the person who did the heal. Scourge Hook, Pain, Resonance. Decrease regression effect to 20% was 25. So another killer nerf. Like they're buffing killers, but they're nerfing killer perks. So I don't know. I honestly don't know what to tell you. And then Invocation Weaving Spiders. Decrease invocation time to 60 seconds was 120. Invocation progress now will be regressed by 1 charge per second was 20 charges per second. Yeah. So Weaving Spiders got buffed. Sorry, no, it got buffed, and now it takes less. It still does the same effect, where the survivors can essentially make gens take less time to do. So I want to highlight the problem with this. They nerfed every gen regression perk so far, except Surge, right? But Surge or Jolt, however you want to call it, you need to be next to a gen. I want you guys to understand. If people start running Weaving Spiders along with the nerf to gen perks, a lot of people don't know this, but Weaving Spiders, by making every generator take 10 seconds less, it also indirectly nerfs the impact of gen regression perks. So not only did the perks get nerfed, right, like pain res, pop, all that stuff, this perk is also gonna nerf pain res and pop even more, making them essentially barely usable. So basically they're indirectly killing off the killer meta with this update if it goes live. I want you guys to let that sink in. I want you guys to understand that killers are slowly but surely, like, behavior just wants killers to just not be able to play the game. It's kind of crazy. So Borgo reworked the lighting of the Shattered Square map. Now it's dark and gloomy. It's creepy. It fits the DBD theme, so that's good. Now you can see scratch marks, and you can chase people and all that stuff. The map still has a bunch of pallets, but at least now you can kind of play around the map, so that's okay, I guess. Item previews. New reworked pop-up for items found within the trial. So now when you pick up a character specific item, or if you bring a perk that gives you a specific item like Flashbang, it will give you a description of what it does and what the purpose and what are the uses for it. So this is more like for new players. This is so that new players learn more about the game and how things work and all that stuff. Like, experienced players will already know, but this is more of a quality of life change for those who don't. So, I mean, it's welcomed. I honestly have no issues with this. You know, that way new players can learn the game. So that's cool. I feel like this is a positive change, so it's welcomed. But yeah, EMPs, the box from Pinhead, flashbangs, med sprays, the needle from Nemesis, the T virus infection, all of that stuff will have a description now, and it tells you what it does. So yeah, cool change. And then on May 14th, there's going to be a live stream telling us about the reveals and about the upcoming anniversary. And until next time, that has been the Dead by Daylight team. So that's basically the end of the changes. Overall, if this goes to live, this is going to go to PTB first, guys. It's going to go to the player test build first. But overall, if these changes goes live, a lot of killers, in my opinion, are going to stop playing because they essentially buffed at least like 3 or 4 survivor perks, and then 3 or 4 killer perks have been nerfed. And with the buff to weaving spiders, it's going to indirectly nerf regression perks even more. So yeah, if this change goes live, it's gonna end up making the game more insufferable. So, but we'll see. That's been enough for me. Catch you in the next one, guys. Peace.